Hello there and welcome to my channel. This is going to be a short book review on the book known as Thirsty by M.T. Anderson, as you can obviously tell by the title underneath my head. I know how to keep a cover in your mind. A little bit of background before I start the summary. In this book, vampires are a normal everyday occurrence. They are not necessarily like Twilight, where they're kind of happy families of vampires living vegetarian lives in the woods, but there are vampires everywhere. They are a danger to society and nobody really wants them around, so they're trying to kill them as very quickly as efficiently as possible. There are no other fairy creatures involved, there are no giants or leprechauns or anything like that, but vampires are obviously a thing, obviously according to the title, and the cover wears the vampire teeth and their blah. Okay, our story is basically all about this kid named Chris. He's 15 years old at the time. He and his friends Jerk and Tom, yes, his name is Jerk, it is through very unfortunate circumstances, and yes, I'll leave that for you to find out if you wish to buy the book. Anyway, they're going through their year of school. Chris is obsessing over this girl named Rebecca Schwartz because she's apparently the YA beautiful person that is always in YA novels, no matter which YA novel you get. While that is cliche, it does not detract from the interesting parts of the story. Chris and his friends go to watch a vampiress being dragged in by the police into the police station, and then she will be executed while in the building. Before she enters the building, Chris looks over at her, and she looks straight back at him. He doesn't really see anything wrong with this other than the creepiness and the terrifyingness of a vampire staring you straight in the face. Although a few days later, he starts feeling a little strange. He starts feeling a little bit thirsty. And he starts losing sleep. He starts feeling weird about sleeping. He doesn't sleep as much. He doesn't eat as much. He's just all around being more aggravated, getting more strange, getting these weird cravings to like bite himself. And if he does bite himself and he sucks on his own blood for a long time, he realizes that he's turning into a vampire. He knows this fully and he's fully aware of this. And he tries to think about how to tell his parents, but he doesn't really know because he's afraid that either they will not believe him or that they will take him to the police station where they will execute him, and it's not that fun to be executed if you ask me. Anyway, he knows that he's a vampire and he's trying to hide it from his parents currently. He's trying to hide it from his friends currently. And while him and his friends are going on a walk down into the woods, they're going to find a lake to sit around and look at and blah blah blah. Teenagers do stuff at the lakes all the time. It's not weird. As they're going down the trail, Chris hears behind him a person. He turns around and looks, and it's this man with a bald head, crazy eyes, and a dark black suit. And while he does not really know why there's another guy following them to the lake, he's just kind of like, oh, he's going to the lake too, we'll just let him be. Anyway, as they get to the lake, his friends make their way around the lake and find a spot to sit down and talk and stuff, while behind him the guy starts to talk to him, and while he is very creeped out, he talks back, and this guy explains that he's some kind of angel spiritual thing, which is very powerful and it's not really used to being in a human form thing. Chris doesn't necessarily believe him, but with the whole vampire thing, he's kind of willing to believe anybody that says they got an idea out of this, and he does. He apparently has this idea of, if you do this thing for these people, you will no longer be a vampire. And so he says he'll do it, so he goes and he waits at his house for the next few days and tries to wait and see what this guy's going to tell him to do. So the guy comes around and starts talking to him eventually. There's another guy that's kind of spying on him. He doesn't know what's going on. He thinks he's associated with that guy, but he's really associated with somebody else, which comes in later in the novel. A lot of spiritual mumbo-jumbo happens. They go find amulets and this and that. And vampire festivals are going on, which are very stressful because he's turning into a vampire, and this is celebrating the killing of vampires, and he's kind of like, I don't want to be dead, and I don't want to celebrate my death, so I'm gonna be stressed about that, if that's okay with you. And apparently at this festival, they are trying to keep a demon at bay, which is common knowledge to everybody in the book, so far. And what Chris does not notice is that everything that he's doing for this balding spirit man is kind of letting loose the demon, and it's not good for anybody. But anyway, stuff happens. He goes into this demon's world, and he eventually kills him, because the demon has been like, I've been in prison for billions of years, and I've been so lonely, there's been nothing but the sound of my own head. And it's terrifying, and it's terrible, just kill me. So he does, and the demon is apparently not terrified anymore. And Chris is happy because he is no longer in a demon realm, and everybody else is happy because the demon is no longer have to be kept at bay. They're kind of like, oh yay, we don't have to have the festival anymore. We're going to just cause festival, but we don't have to have it. That's nice. And after all this craziness is over, instead of the novel ending like you would expect, like you would hope, that he's gonna not be a vampire anymore, the angels are gonna be like, yes, you did such a good job at killing the demon, let's reward you with humanity again. But no, he remains a vampire, and he doesn't tell his family, and his mother walks in the room, and he doesn't want to kill anyone, but he is now a vampire fully, and he does no longer really have much self control. It's not good for his mother. Anyway, that's how the novel ends. The novel ends with the words, and I will quote them directly. I am so thirsty. I didn't spoil it for you. But anyway, yes, it's a very good book. Now we switch to the analysis, criticalness, whatever you want to call it. It's a long summary. I am sorry for that. But anyway, now to the critical analysis. It may be a little bit on the angsty side and really like teenagery and very man. If that's a good description. And if you like that thing, that's great. I would very much recommend this book because it's very angsty and it's very emotional and very If you don't like that, that's fine. You can go on reading your Dostoevsky, you can go on reading your Plato and your, God forbid, Aristotle. But either way, I find this book to be very entertaining. I find it to be very refreshing and very well thought out. And either way, the sentences are very smooth and it's very easy to read overall. It's only like 237 pages, which is like a quarter of a Harry Potter book. And I also just really love the overall story because it reminds me a lot of an anime in the way that the story is in one world and he's dealing with something and he has to go to a different reality to face the demon. And either way, yes, Thirsty by M.T. Anderson. It is a very, very good book. I suggest it to anybody that likes vampires, that likes fiction, that likes vampire fiction, that doesn't like vampire fiction. If you like angsty teenagery stuff with a little bit of fantasy thrown in, then you will probably like this. Bloop. And anyway, if you have any thoughts about how I'm doing this and if you have any constructive criticism or if you have any criticism in general, just let me know. By the way, the updating you with the reading that I'm doing, it's only been a day and I've not got much farther in any of the books specifically, but I'm in all the same books and I'm getting closer to finishing them all. I'm thinking of trying to keep a schedule up. I'm thinking Tuesdays and Fridays for right now. If it has to change, it has to change. But for right now, Tuesdays and Fridays sound good to me, and I think I can handle that. I will see you in the next video with the next book. Goodbye.